Greetings, everyone. My name is Dr. Anita Stewart McCafferty. I'm a faculty member with the Educational Leadership Department at the University of Southern Maine. And it is my distinct pleasure to welcome you to this accelerated asynchronous online course, EDU 679, Supervision and Evaluation of Teachers. It's one of my very favorite courses to teach. And that's partly because it is such a skill building course. I really strongly believe that the way leaders supervise and evaluate the teachers within their charge is super impactful. So it really makes a huge difference to the climate and culture of the schools, to the relationships within them, and definitely to the student achievement. And so it has an impact both on the teachers, faculty members, leadership, and students. It's an important skill set to develop. Now, because our course is focused on evaluating, supervising teacher performance at a variety of levels, then, because some of our graduate students will be supervising teachers from preschool through adult education in a variety of subject areas. And so as a result of that, we offer a framework of supervisory concepts and really ask for our graduate students to apply these concepts to their particular settings and their clientele that they would likely encounter. A major course goal is for students to acquire the knowledge and skills required for effective supervision and evaluation of teachers and other school personnel so that student achievement is enhanced. Students will conduct multiple clinical supervision sequences. So these sequences might be mini observations, walkthroughs, learning walks, full lesson observations, etc. In a school setting, using various data gathering tools and techniques, you'll also be working on aligning your observation to professional standards, and you'll be able to practice your feedback and questioning skills. Now, because this course happens to be situated during a pandemic when we can't get in physically into our buildings, we're going to look at observation a little bit differently than we normally would. Because normally right now I would be saying to you, secure your placements to be able to do observations over the next few weeks. And because schools are likely winding down earlier, I want to encourage you, if it's at all possible, to be able to access some of your colleagues' video classes. There are lessons with students. Please make the opportunity to go in and witness those, because that will help us as we're thinking about our own skill sets around observing and aligning our observations to frameworks or standards, and then also to getting good at providing effective, meaningful feedback that will enhance future performance. So if you have the opportunity at all to be able to do that, please make sure that you do. The second thing that I would want to say to you is that if you currently are teaching lessons with your students, it would be wonderful if you could record a 15 or 20-minute segment that you will be able to use during the course for your own self-reflection. So it won't be something in either case, either witnessing or observing your colleagues, or what you do for yourself that you will turn into me or into the course or share with other colleagues, but it really will be used for your own development of these skill sets. So if you're able to access colleagues' teaching, just to be able to sit in on those Zoom sessions or Google Classroom sessions or whatever you might be using for a video tool, then that would be wonderful. And if you're able to record a short segment of your own teaching, that would be wonderful as well. Now, if those options are not available to you, then we will do our best to give you practice with lots of other video of other teachers, in the process of teaching their students. So during this course, we have several objectives, 9 in fact, that we'll be looking to be able to accomplish in our short time together, 7 weeks. So the first is to develop a philosophical stance on the purposes, processes, and desired outcomes for supervision and evaluation of school personnel. The second is to analyze teaching episodes for effective instruction and student learning. The third is to align observational data of classroom instruction with professional standards of practice. So we're going to be practicing with a number of these professional standards of practice, including the InTask standards, the Danielson framework, Marzano's Art and Science of Teaching, National Board Teaching Standards, their core propositions, etc. The fourth learning outcome is that you develop questions for use in pre- and/or post-observation conferences. The fifth learning outcome is that you acquire a variety of techniques and tools for collecting data in the classroom. So we're going to be practicing with a whole host of tools, many tools which will not include a numeric score. And that will be purposeful, and we'll talk more about when you might want to use observation tools that do ask for you to give an evaluative numeric rating score, and when, which I'll just give you my own personal bias, most often you will want to use tools that help to encourage descriptive feedback and meaningful dialogue between the evaluator and the teacher that you are supervising. The sixth learning outcome is to identify and apply effective feedback strategies to improve the instructional practices of the teacher. Now, you're looking to improve teaching practices, not because we just are so interested in everybody getting to the self-actualization, tip of Maslow's hierarchy, although that would be wonderful. But we're really looking at improving teaching practices because we're interested in improving student learning for all of our students. Our seventh learning objective is to analyze numerous observations and use the data to plan and prioritize conferencing and the giving of feedback in order to improve instructional practices of the teacher. The eighth learning outcome is to demonstrate questioning techniques for feedback and/or pre-observation conferences that cause teachers to reflect on their own teaching and student learning and that address the needs of certified staff. So that might be teachers, school service personnel, etc., in a variety of different stages of their career. And the ninth learning outcome is to analyze supervision situations to determine appropriate courses of action for school leaders facing each of the dilemmas. This course is divided into 7 modules. So each week you will have a new module with a focus, guiding questions, and module objectives. Our modules are as follows. Module 1, so week 1, is the purposes and experiences with supervision and evaluation. Module 2 is focused on being able to identify effective teacher moves and then to do an alignment with the InTask standards. The third module is focused on mini observations and the Marshall rubric alignment. So I should probably stop and say right now that our common read will be Kim Marshall's book, Rethinking Teacher Supervision and Evaluation. It's the 2nd edition, and so this will be our common source, and then we will be working with his rubrics to align our observations to his rubrics, but also to a variety of other common evaluation rubrics. So Module 3 will focus on the Marshall rubric alignment. Module 4 focuses on questioning and additional mini observation practice. Module 5 focuses on curriculum and interim assessments, and then also aligning your observations to the Danielson and Marzano frameworks. Module 6 continues our work with mini observations and other observations as well as starting to look at supervision and evaluation scenarios. So dilemmas that you might face, hopefully not, but likely you will, and how you might consider responding to those. Module 7 starts to look at summative evaluation, so how you put all the data together to make sense of the rating of a teacher and also the goals that would be likely for next steps for the teacher to improve in order for student learning to improve. And we'll continue our work around supervision scenarios of these dilemmas that often we face. So during this course, you'll have a number of readings that you'll do each week, as well as some videos that you will, or videos or webinars that will be linked in to the module reading/viewing folders. There are always discussion board prompts for you to be working through. And the idea with the discussion board is for us to really create a professional learning community. So it's not meant just to be a hoop that you check off. Oh, there, I went in, I gave my, composed my initial post, and then responded to 2 people, check, check, done. Nope, that's not the plan. The plan really is that you are engaged in learning from one another through ongoing dialogue. So it will be important that you have multiple touch points throughout the week with the discussion board. I do try to give you until Thursday to compose your initial post, but if other people are posting earlier than that, you certainly can be going in and engaging in that dialogue. Also encourage you to go back and once you share your initial post or you respond to somebody else, go back in after that in another day or 2 and look to respond to their responses. Right? So it's that idea of having dialogue. And the more you use the discussion board, I find the more you will learn in the course, because it's really important, this dialogue that we have, this sharing that we have with one another. It's one of the bedrocks when you're in graduate school. Some of the best learning is with the colleagues in class with you, because you're really processing through the material and the examples, and you're also having this wonderful opportunity to hear how it's being applied in a totally different grade level or grade span, or a totally different content area. So it's some really wonderful learning, and I encourage you to make the most of that opportunity. So to see it through that lens, not the hoop, but to really see it through that lens of learning from one another. And so I'll say right off the bat that one of the things that I work really hard to do is to be sort of a voyeur in those discussion boards. So I am every day, I'm in there and I'm reading your responses to one another, but I'm trying to hold myself back because I want to respond to everybody. And then what I have found is that when I do that, it becomes the volley just back to Anita. So instead of the dialogue between colleagues in the classroom, it becomes a conversation, pretty much directed to me. So I'm going to hold back. I will always respond each week to you individually and give feedback about your discussion posts and about your community of practice. So how you are at participating in our professional learning community, which is what I consider our discussion boards to be. Also, every week you will be posting and submitting assignments directly to me. And I encourage you, when you're submitting those assignments, not to write in the box, but to write in a Word, so in a Microsoft Word or a Google Doc, or even PDF or Pages, and then to be able to attach that to your submission. It makes it really so much easier for me to be able to view if you submit your assignments that way. So I really appreciate that if you would take that under consideration. Now in the course, there is off to the left, there's a getting started, which will help you be able to understand the color-coded way that we're organizing this course. So I encourage you to take a look at that. And then there's, of course, a link to introduce yourself. So that's an important first step. And then there will be a link for you to be able to access the syllabus, which includes the major assignment topics and the guiding questions and module objectives, as well as all of the policies and practices, all that good stuff that you might want to know about this particular course. I look forward to working with you during these 7 weeks together. Don't hesitate to send me an email if there's something that you're stuck with or you need some help or some clarification. I'm happy to do that. Enjoy the course.